Joining us now from the University of Michigan, Steve Forrest. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
You are going to deliver the keynote address here at the spring meeting, the iMatSci address. Right. And what that does is it connects, it helps give information to connect researchers and innovators to locate funding and whatnot. How critical is that need for that connection?
It's essential.
It's essential.
So, you know, the very foundation of the U.S. economy is innovation.
Yes.
And when you have innovation, you've got to back it up with support, so you need to find the right resources for it. It's not just about money. There's an awful lot that has to do with the idea, about the team, but money is a very essential ingredient that you can't live without, obviously.
What about the role of academia and in the innovation chain, and how that's maybe changed over recent years?
Well, it went through a big change, and it started in 1980, as it turns out, with the passage of the Bayh-Dole legislation, which allowed universities to commercialize research which was based on federal funding. And so that created an innovation network within universities. So professors very often have ideas. The universities, the good ones, will be very supportive of that concept and will help that idea get out into the marketplace.
Okay.
And so I think it's a very important piece of the innovation chain in America today.
Okay, that's one important piece. Now, obviously, you have a lot of experience in moving products out of the lab into the marketplace. You'll be discussing that in your address. Can you just give us a brief synopsis?
It all depends on commitment.
Oh, really?
You know, it's basically, if you want to do it, you'll find a way to do it. Entrepreneurs I believe, are born. They're not made. You can teach people the tools of entrepreneurialism, but if somebody really has an idea and they want to move it forward, it's got to come from the gut. And so when we work in our laboratory, if we see a good idea and we see that it has some potential applications, it's more likely than not we will try to get that out into the hands of other people, into customers and so on. And it could be done through a large company, it could be done through a startup, any number of mechanisms. Maybe you just give it to your cousin or something like that and just make sure it gets out there.
There's no blueprint, right?
There is no blueprint.
It's customized, and again, the drive of the individual or the group is essential.
Yes. No, you cannot. I was at Bell Labs for many years, and we talked about throwing ideas over the wall. I think that's still a good analogy. You cannot throw an idea over the wall. You have to go over the wall with it if you want something to happen. So you have to have that commitment.
Great point. What are some of the other things that attendees should be thinking about, other than, okay, do I have that commitment, when they're thinking about locating funding, whether it's from a venture capitalist or from another source?
Stick with your ideas. Believe in yourself, I think, is probably the biggest point, because you're going to be disappointed many, many times. One of my mentors over the years told me that starting a company is about fighting dragons, slaying dragons. Every time you come up to a roadblock in a company, and that could be looking for money, it could be a technical issue, it could be a personnel issue, it feels like it's a dragon that's going to devour the company. Every problem is a crisis of existential importance. If you don't stick with it, it'll kill you. So the important thing is just to stick with it, and when looking for funding, you have to go to multiple sources. You have to be very careful not to give away the store, because you want to have some incentive for doing it yourself. I've been in all the various positions where I've maintained ownership, and other places where it all just kind of evaporated on me. And that very much impacts how you view the success of what you've done, and what sort of, and again, it's not about the money, it's about getting a feeling that you have accomplished something and that you've taken it to conclusion.
Perseverance, commitment, right?
Yeah.
Those are a couple of key points. Steve, enjoy this spring meeting, enjoy your discussion. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.